This family's dog started acting possessed whenever their newborn was in the nursery, and the terrifying reason behind his behavior would leave them forever grateful for his warning. At first, they thought it was just a dog being protective, but when their golden retriever Buddy started the strange new behavior, something felt deeply wrong about it. It began subtly enough. Buddy would position himself directly outside the nursery, his body forming a living barricade. When little Emma slept inside, he transformed from a playful pet into a stone-still guardian. His ears would perk up at the faintest sound from within. His usual tail-wagging enthusiasm disappeared completely during these vigils. Instead, a low, rumbling whine would escape his throat, a sound his owners, Jennifer and Michael, had never heard before. It wasn't a normal canine complaint. It was a vibration of pure dread. "Buddy, come here, boy," Michael would call, patting his knee. But the dog wouldn't even glance his way. His entire world had narrowed to that single closed door. What did he know that they didn't? Jennifer tried everything to ease his apparent anxiety. She set up a comfortable dog bed further down the hall. She offered his favorite treats. She even brought one of Emma's blankets out for him to sniff. Nothing worked. His fixation only grew stronger with each passing day. The breaking point came on a Tuesday night. Jennifer had just put Emma down after a late feeding. The baby monitor showed peaceful, steady breathing. She collapsed into bed, praying for a few solid hours of sleep. She'd barely closed her eyes when the silence shattered. Not just barking, a cacophony of scratching, howling, and frantic body slams against wood. It was the sound of pure animal panic. They both bolted upright, hearts hammering. Michael reached the door first, fumbling with the knob. What they saw inside the nursery would haunt their dreams for years to come. Little Emma lay perfectly still in her crib, too still. Her tiny chest wasn't moving. Her lips were taking on a faint bluish tint. She wasn't breathing. "Call 911!" Jennifer screamed, her voice cracking with terror. Michael grabbed his phone, his hands shaking so badly he could barely dial. Jennifer scooped Emma up, her mind racing through half-remembered CPR instructions from their prenatal class. The baby felt frighteningly limp in her arms. Buddy pressed against her legs, whining and pushing his nose toward the baby's face. His behavior was so intense it was almost interfering, but Jennifer suddenly understood. He was trying to help. He was telling them to hurry. 911, what's your emergency?" A calm voice came through Michael's phone. "Our baby's not breathing. She's not breathing," he yelled, putting it on speaker as the dispatcher began guiding Jennifer through infant CPR. The seconds stretched into what felt like hours. Jennifer counted compressions, her tears falling onto Emma's tiny nightgown. Buddy continued his desperate whining, circling them like a furry, anxious shark. Would their efforts be enough? Then, a miracle. A weak, gasping sound. Then a fragile cry. Color began returning to Emma's face. Her chest rose and fell in shallow but definite breaths. Jennifer sobbed with relief, clutching her daughter to her chest. The paramedics arrived moments later, confirming what they already knew. Emma had experienced a severe sleep apnea event. One of the EMTs looked at Buddy, who had finally settled, sitting quietly but watchfully beside Jennifer. "Your dog is a hero," he said simply. "He bought you the time you needed." But how had he known? That night, they moved Buddy's bed directly into the nursery. He settled onto it immediately, his vigil finally sanctioned. His tense posture relaxed for the first time in weeks. He had gotten what he wanted, to be close to his charge. A week later, equipped with a new medical-grade breathing monitor, they tried to resume something resembling normal life. The device was state-of-the-art, guaranteed to alert them at the first sign of trouble. At 3:17 a.m., the monitor's alarm shrieked through the silent house. But Jennifer was already awake and moving. Buddy's sharp, urgent bark had jolted her from sleep a full 2 seconds before the machine sounded. The doctor later confirmed this wasn't a fluke. Dogs can detect subtle changes in breathing and scent that our best machines might miss, he explained. You have an early warning system that no amount of money can buy. The best guardian doesn't come with a manual, but with a wet nose and a loyal heart. They stopped fighting his instincts entirely. Buddy's place was now permanently at Emma's side. As the months passed, her condition improved with treatment, but Buddy never left his post. When she learned to crawl, he crawled beside her. When she played in the living room, he lay watching from a few feet away. Then came the day Jennifer decided to organize the garage. In a box of old paperwork from Buddy's adoption, she found a folded, faded document she'd never properly read before. Her blood ran cold as she scanned the behavioral history section. There, typed in stark black and white, were the words, "Previous placement, infant respiratory distress response training." Her hands trembled as she called the rescue organization. The woman who answered listened quietly before telling a story that would forever change how Jennifer saw their furry family member. Buddy had originally been placed with a young couple who lost their infant to SIDS. He had shown signs of agitation that night, but they hadn't recognized the warning. The grief-stricken family eventually surrendered him, unable to bear the reminder. He carried the memory of a failure that wasn't his to bear. Jennifer hung up the phone, tears streaming down her face. She found Buddy lying watchfully beside Emma's playpen. She wrapped her arms around his neck, burying her face in his fur. "You weren't just protecting her," she whispered. "You were getting a second chance." From that moment on, Buddy was more than a pet. He was a soul who had known profound loss and refused to let history repeat itself. He was a silent guardian, a four-legged angel who had turned his own tragedy into another family's miracle. Years later, when Emma took her first wobbling steps across the living room floor, Buddy walked steadily beside her, his body a living safety rail. His tail wagged in a slow, proud rhythm, as if he knew this was the milestone he'd been waiting for. Every night at bedtime, Emma would hug him tightly and whisper the same 3 words into his ear. "Thank you, Buddy." Because sometimes the most extraordinary protectors come in the most ordinary forms. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to ThrillCube for more incredible real-life stories.